to leave. Already packed.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So this is the third time I've tried to film this video. I keep having memory card errors, so hopefully this is the final time I have to film an introduction. I'm already into the video, as you can see. So hopefully it's not super annoying starting where we're starting. We are here to do a weekly check-in for January. This is the first weekly check-in of January, which you're probably thinking, Sarah, it is literally the middle, if not close to the end of January. Yes, I'm aware. Things happen and budgeting is not always a great weekly or daily task for some of us. So I just filmed a video. It's gonna be up before this video where I walk through and track every single expense of January. Definitely watch that if you haven't already. It's gonna be a good starting point to see kind of behind the scenes what we're spending our money on, how I like to track it, why certain things are on my monthly view and some are on a transaction log. Definitely a good starting point. But the thing that I like about this situation is that it shows you guys that even if you are a little bit behind on budgeting, it is never too late to start. Yes, it is the middle of the month, but it does not stop me from sitting down, seeing where I'm at, and continuing to make good decisions based off that information going forward so that we can still hit our goals for January. So before we get into the weekly check-in, which I've already started, I just wanted to mention that the budget planner that you're seeing me use is my very own Sarah Marie Stickers Humble Beginning Budget Planner for 2025. We do have them available still. They're currently discounted because we're obviously in 2025. Offering this planner has been a dream of mine, and I'm so excited that like we're in the second year of doing it. But we do have a lot of the 2025 version left, and I would really, really, really appreciate it if you shared it with friends, family. If you haven't already picked one up, go ahead and pick one up. We want to continue offering them going forward. I already have a whole idea of what 2026 is going to look like, but we need them to sell in order to continue offering them. So again, share them as much as possible. I'm gonna continue posting videos showing the budget planner, showing how I use my budget stickers in them. But again, please share it as much as possible. If you think you know of someone who's wanting to get into budgeting, recommend it. That would be great. I will have a link down below. It's already discounted if you're wanting to pick one up. Okay, with that being said, like I said, I already tracked all of my transactions. Go check out that video if you haven't already, because this is gonna be kind of confusing if you don't. I went through and already totaled up all of my transactions for groceries, which is why there's so many little check marks and why I started off showing you guys I've already added up all of them. I'm, again, having weird issues with my camera. It looks like it's working fine now, but yeah, that's kind of the reason why. So for groceries, as of the 18th of January, we have spent a total of $643.38. I did go through, and as I was adding everything up, I checked off the transactions that I was like, you know, adding up, so I know where I need to start tracking next time I do a weekly check-in. So that's why those check mark boxes are perfect if you're doing weekly check-ins. So $643.38. We budget $1,000 for the month, which means that we have a total remaining balance of $356.62. One thing that I like about tracking my groceries and variable expenses on my monthly view is I can kind of see trends. So typically Jason goes grocery shopping on Tuesdays, which you can kind of see it's usually here, which means that we have 1-2 more weeks of grocery shopping in the month of January. Again, usually. So I'm gonna divide that number by 2, and that gives us a total weekly amount of $178.31. So I'm gonna say per week. So that's pretty decent. If you take a look at like what we've spent, that's plenty here, because here we spent about $130. Here's a little bit more expensive because we bought some like supplements. So I would say we're in pretty good shape there. Another thing is $72, so a little bit less than 1/10 of it is Macy's school lunch, which we paid for the entire month all at once. So that's another thing that we don't need to really consider. So I think we're in good shape with groceries. Now let's take a look at eating out, and you guys will actually get to see this process because hopefully my camera won't die. So next we have eating out. So eating out is going to be in this tan color, and the first transaction we have is $104.46. That is a huge chunk of money, and one of the reasons why I really dislike going to sit-down restaurants with the whole family. We went to brunch with my sister and her family, and it just adds up. Like, it adds up so crazy. Usually we do more like fast food, or like me and Jason will just go somewhere together, and the kids will either eat at home or like we'll just go when they're not with us. But yeah, it's expensive to take a family of 4 out nowadays. The next transactions that we had was for McDonald's. That was $12.12. That was just for Macy and Jason. Then we had All Famous. That was $34.36. Then we had Chipotle. That was $11.50. And Dunkin', $14. Then we had Dunkin' for $9. Chipotle, $15.80. Steak and Shake, $16.68. McDonald's, $20.70. And then another Chipotle of $14.62. So that brings us to a total spend of $253.24. We typically budget $300 per month for eating out, so that means we have $46.76 remaining. And again, this is another area where I like to look at remaining weeks. So we typically will look at Saturday. That's when we go over and start eating out normally. So we have one more week left, so that's just $46.76 per week. So a decent amount, not too bad there. Next, we're gonna look at household. So for household, that's gonna be everything in this lighter blue color. So we have Amazon, that was $12.65 here. I think that's the only thing there. And then Costco, $20. And I think that's it. So that's $32.65. We do budget $200 for that, so that means we have $167.35 remaining. And I don't look at it per week because we don't really do stuff per week with that. So we have a really good amount of money left for that, so that's good. And then the last thing that I'm going to take a look at is going to be gas. So we spent $38.54 for the RAV4 here, then $38.80 here, and then $23.94 for the Prius. So we have spent a total of $101.28, and we do budget $175 now. So that means we have $73.72. And again, that's another category that we don't look at it per week. So that's not really something that we need to write in. The Prius is usually a little bit over $20 to fill up. The RAV4 is usually closer to $40. So we both have another fill up, and that's plenty. We don't have very much longer in the week, in the month. So I think we're good there. In terms of transactions, you can definitely go through and kind of see where you're at with transactions. I just know from just doing some rough math that Christmas and gifts is over budget, and that's to be expected. We've had Christmas and then 2 birthday parties. So I know in February we'll be caught up with all of our sinking funds for that. In terms of other stuff, our subscriptions is a little bit low right now because our Amazon Prime came out, and I think we were just a little bit underfunded for that. Nothing else is super surprising. We do have a lot of money in car insurance, and I'm hoping to adjust our car insurance and get a new provider in February, so hopefully we can use some of that money and put it to something else. But yeah, in terms of sinking funds, we're right on track besides Christmas and gifts, and again, that's kind of to be expected. I could put more money there in January, but I know it'll be replenished in February when we add in our $500, so I'm not worried about it for the time being. So yeah, that is my weekly check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to kind of see the process. Again, I'm sorry about the weird video and the fact that my camera cut off like the beginning parts of me looking at groceries. But again, if you checked out the tracking video, you'll hear more in depth about like, you know, what transactions were, just behind the scenes, I feel like, about what we're spending and why we're spending and all of that type of stuff, which is to me like the most interesting part. And then you see kind of my process of looking at our expenses and making a plan going forward for the weekly check-in. Again, if we had like $100 left per week for groceries, I'd be like, okay, we need to really be careful about what we're doing. Maybe eat more out of the pantry or out of our freezer a little bit more, because I know that we're usually over $100 per week. Same thing with eating out. Obviously, we have $46 left. So that tells me that we have like 1 or maybe 2 eating outs, depending on what it is, left. The other thing that I should mention is I normally look at groceries and eating out together. So right here, we have about $400 left for food for the month. That is plenty. That is plenty for us. And we normally don't eat out a ton. So this tells me that like, as long as we kind of just do what we've been doing, we should be fine. But if our groceries we have a lot of money left over and our eating out, we're negative, I'm actually okay with that, because that just shows me, okay, maybe we ate out a little bit more during the month. I don't want to say no to certain things just because of our budget. I want to try and work fun things into our budget, if that makes sense. So for example, with eating out, spending 1/3 of our eating out budget going out to brunch with my sister, that sucks. It's not very fun, but at the same time, we don't do it very often. It's kind of a fun thing. We got together after like probably a month of not seeing each other because we've all been sick. So I'm grateful that we did it. It was really fun. The kids had a blast. So it was worth it in my mind, but it's just something that like I'm not gonna do every week. I'm not gonna do it every month. So anyway, that is it for my weekly check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little bit about my process. Again, please share the planner if you haven't already. Pick it up if you want one. And I will see you guys next week for another weekly check-in. Bye, guys.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking.